Parts unknown. Haha, what time is it? Did I get up here in time? Oh my gosh, it's 5 minutes. Well, I had to get everything to multi-stream again on Bumble. So we'll see how it goes and see what kind of a signal strength I got when more people get into the chats. I appreciate everybody that shows up this evening and everybody who watches the video after the live. And I want to thank all my new subscribers for coming and hitting that bell so they could be notified and be part of the chat. So, and I also want to thank Gary and Bev and Mike and Angie last night for helping out sponsor the program. So here we are again. And you know what? I got my thumbnail says conspiracy is a thing. That's because Friday night, I was saying the Ryko case getting stronger, right? And what do we get? We got some truths out today and tweets by people who are discussing what is happening in New York, what is happening in Georgia, what is happening in Arizona, calling it a conspiracy. Okay? And it's getting to be patently obvious. We've got a lot of things to back that up, a lot of things going on internationally. And we're going to help people walk through history, walk through the darkness. Hey, there's a pinhole of light down there. Let's go see what's going on. And the pinhole gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? But tact is the art of making a point without making an enemy. I do want to communicate that to a certain group of people who are on Utizzle. I alluded to in the past, and I may be having some interactions with them. People who, as I said before, got themselves in a pickle, bucking the system, you know. But hey, you can't get any more bucking the system than Mr. T right now, and all of us standing behind him. Hi, Sherry. How you doing? Bubba, how you doing? Jersey Joe, Kim, nice to see you. Sherry, let's see. Single songwriter, purple, hand waving. How, Island Girl, how you doing? Let me see. My chats jump around on me sometimes. Debbie's here. Island Girl. Bubba, how's my signal? Hi, Kim. Let's see. How is my signal coming through? I hope it's all coming through nice and strong. So anyway, I'm glad to see you all, and we're going to have a good time tonight. About as good time as you can have while we watch this march toward the precipice. The precipice, okay? Here's a cartoon somebody put up here. I tell you one guy I want to interview. He's got a channel called Comics Matter. Comics Matter. And I got to get some information together to be able to have a discussion at some point concerning that. Now, as I've said before, whoa, there's somebody on a motorcycle going to probably wreck going around a curve. But you see entertainment in a woke era. And you know, the thing is, they've had these video games. The latest one is this one from Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. They came out with a new game, and the hero looks absolutely horrid. I mean, they don't want boys looking at pretty girls even in video games. So, but here's what they replace it with: children entertainment in the woke era. Tip her. Go on, tip her. Like that's a her, you know. They're trying to do the down is up and the up is down business, right? Hi, Robin. How you doing? Melvita, how you doing? Hi, Wanda. David. Roberto. Yvonne. All right, I got 5x5s. Good. I'm glad to see, because things were lagging a little bit when I was trying to set up. I have to do a little technical stuff to be able to multi-stream. So it was lagging a little bit. Now, you know what? Here, I'll just fire through some of this stuff. I got this from Citizens Free Press. Howard Stern and Biden spew lies about Trump. I didn't have to play it to know what he says. This is not what happened based on Raffensperger's phone call. And I know exactly what they're doing. It's what people who are exposed to only the mainstream media understand the Raffensperger phone call to be, where Trump is supposedly sweatily sitting in his office going, come on, all I need is 10,000 votes. Come on, find me 10,000 votes, man. Let's cheat. Let's get this done, man. You know, a ridiculous, idiotic concept. But if you have every news agencies that the average American trusts repeating the same thing, they don't realize that they're repeating lies. But I believe Howard Stern knows he's repeating lies. I believe Howard Stern, and this is my opinion, Howard. If you don't like it, tough. I think you're a pervert, and I think you're a vicious liar. You repeat vicious lies. Okay, so put that in your pipe and smoke it, Howard. You creep. Somebody tell me he's not in the creep crowd. Okay. Speaking of what's coming out, hey, Howard's in there. What did Cat Williams say about Dave Chappelle? What did Cat Williams say about a lot of stars? What did the guy who played Lamont in Sanford and Son come out and say? What did Ricky Schroeder come out and say? They took his video down. Well, there's a video going around, Jim Brewer talking about Dave Chappelle just before he or was it after or before he disappeared? He said he got a visit. He got a visit from somebody. And the way Brewer, and he was interviewing with Roseanne Barr, right? And Roseanne, he said, you know, he got a visit. And Roseanne was like, oh, he did? Really? He did? And he said, yeah. And apparently they both knew from who? Roseanne and Jim. And somebody tried to ask, well, who were they? And they were both like, well, we don't need to discuss that. And Brewer said it was one of these things. You want to go in your house and drink your coffee in your house right now? He said, creepy like that. Okay, I don't know what that means. But namely, it wasn't a friendly visit. Okay? So, Howard, I think you've had your visits too. Okay? Hi, Angela. And you've changed the culture for trash. Okay? Trash, filth. And I hope people just tune you out. You're disgusting. You promote this kind of crap right here. You know, what people are starting to understand, and I didn't get a copy of it, but I saw on True Social, a person put a video up. They claimed they're a lesbian, and they're for Trump. And I've said in the past plenty of times, not the Lincoln. What's this creeps that always tearing down Trump? What do they call themselves? But the Log Cabin Party was gay Republicans. They've been around forever, and they don't ascribe to the business of approaching young people, of the garbage they're putting in the schools. Okay, a lot of them aren't even for gay marriage. They're perfectly happy with civil unions. You know, so here's evidence that this movement with the T part in the alphabet, they're after, here you go, Rachel Levine attacks heterosexuality, homosexuality, both of them, okay? They're pushing for their agenda, their, in my mind, dysphoric agenda. That's right, Angela. Log Cabin Republicans. What did Trump call them? A bunch of perverts. Okay? I don't have any reason to disagree with him. Here's something that's interesting I didn't get to last night or Friday night. But anyway, Merrick Garland defies final warning. Okay, this was going into the weekend. Final warning to comply with Biden, an audio subpoena or face contempt. They want the audio, the actual audio of Biden's interview with Robert Hur. Okay, where Hur decided he was didn't have the marbles in his head to justify prosecution, but he can run the country supposedly. Now, how many of you all heard what I wrote down? And I didn't get to say Friday. I heard Trump say during one of his speeches, and I apologize, I told someone that I thought it was in his Pennsylvania discussion, but it may have been when he was outside of the courthouse. He was talking about the destruction. He wanted to debate Biden, right? And I'll read a post from Trump about that. But he said, you know, with this destruction we're witnessing and the harm they've already caused, he said, and I wrote it down right when he said it. How many of you heard him say this? This is not our president. That's the words I wrote as he spoke them. This is not our president. I was listening to it live. How many of you else have heard that? Finding Dory, how you doing? Debbie, how you doing? Roland, how you doing? Leisha. How many? Put a 1 if you all heard the same thing. I to get a screenshot of it, I'd have to go through, hours of video. But I heard him say it with my 2 ear holes in the side of my head. So that, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up was, I think it was about 4 months ago. Yeah, I got some ones. About 4 months ago, I mentioned a certain word that Trump used multiple times. And I said I thought it had meaning. So I'll see if anybody gets it before I say it. But it was one word. And I said, you know what? It was odd how he brought that word up. And I put it in the title of my video. And the video is still up on YouTube. I got proof. I don't think I got to upload that to Bumble yet. Do you all remember that word? And just as a quick aside, and I'm not picking on any person, but I got, if I get a message from 1 or 2 people, I know that means there's, 100 or 200 thinking the same thing. So I'm going to address it. I upload videos to Bumble. And somebody said, well, why don't you put on there that this video was recorded, on such and such a date? Because I've already seen it. I'm not upset, and I'm not picking on any one person, but I'm saying this. My broadcasts are prescient. Okay? I talk about subjects that are ongoing. I remind myself of things when I listen to old broadcasts. I want people on Bumble to start watching the videos and catch up with us. Okay? And they're just as enjoyable as when I did them earlier. All right? I don't have any misinformation or nothing on there. What do you want me to do to get people from Rumble to watch my videos? You want me to put on there, this is an old video? Is that what you want? Is that very wise? People can watch the videos as I post them. But anyway, let me see if anybody got the word. Em, how you doing? The word. The word. The word is a bird. Bird. Let's see. Let me see if I can find. Well, I'll tell you. I didn't. I'll tell you exactly what it was. And I heard it again. And I said, aha. But it wasn't said by Mr. T. It was said by Stinky Joe. What's the word? Word. The word's the bird. Bird is the word. The word is pause. Remember, folks, those of you who've been with me for a while, I'll find that thumbnail and put it up. It was 4 months ago. I said, Trump said that he decided to pause. Okay, we needed a pause. Now, you had Biden up there Friday with the teleprompter battling him. And what did he do? He said pause. So, what does that mean? Well, we got a lot going on. Is it international? Is it something for somebody to do? You know, we had all these foreign dignitaries coming to see Mr. T. Well, Turkey, Erdogan, he canceled his visit because, well, he didn't cancel the visit. The White House canceled it because he's still interfering in Syria, something Trump told him not to do. I think that was a signal from the Trump camp that Erdogan, until he gets his you-know-what in one bucket, straighten up and fly right. Because just about every dignitary that's come to the U.S. has gone to meet Trump. And Trump ain't going to meet with him. Singer-songwriter, how you doing? So, here's a little threat. I guess I'll use that word that's been put out. Lithuanian ambassador. I don't think he's going to be meeting with Trump either. If someone hadn't had a chance to take a photo at the Kerch Bridge, it's still time. What's this bridge? The Lithuanian ambassador to Sweden published a collage with the Crimean Bridge and a rocket. Remember, they blew that bridge up, and then they recycled the footage to make it look like that the Maryland Bridge blew up when it actually didn't. It was actually footage from when they bombed the bridge in Crimea. So there's a threat right there. And don't think that the Russians aren't wise to that. So they're saying it's an imminent situation. If you want to take a picture of that bridge, is that going to be the incident where Russia strikes at decision-making centers? I don't know. We'll see. But Merrick Garland, we don't have to remind Merrick that Steve Bannon went to jail, okay, because he didn't comply with subpoena. We don't have to remind anybody that Peter Navarro's still sitting in jail, okay? So what, are we coming to a constitutional crisis? Well, we got immunity on the table. Meanwhile, all this foreign pot stirring's going on. Speaking of pot stirring, the possible seizure of Russian assets will be a, quote, solid nail in the coffin of the Western economic system. What does that mean? It means that other countries are not going to trust their assets and their funds in situations where the U.S. has control over the assets if they're going to be in the practice of seizing things when they're at odds with another country. We'll get into the ramifications of that in a bit. The ramifications of taking Russian property. Now, Anthony Blinken went over to CHYNA, right? Let me see if I've got that picture. And he was, didn't get any kind of a reception. He was treated like, I don't know, where is that article? President Xi went up and said, before he even said anything to Blinken, he looked at his ambassador and said, when is he leaving? When's he leaving? So it was a very cold meeting. Let me see if I can find that. And a diplomatic embarrassment. And the only one that saw Blinken off at the airport was the U.S. ambassador to China. And it was humiliating from a diplomatic standpoint. And then Blinken said something like, well, if China doesn't do what we want or make a better effort, we're gonna respond in a negative way. Here we go. There's Blinken. Blinken was very unhappy in China. Footage is circulating on social networks in which Xi Jinping, before a meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, asks an assistant, when will he leave? The conversation did not help improve the relationship. After her, no one from the Chinese authorities went to accompany Blinken to the airport. Only U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns said goodbye to him. Blinken appeared offended and told reporters after the trip that the U.S. was ready to increase pressure on China. So there he is with our own ambassador shaking his hand goodbye, and Xi Jinping looking at him, yeah, whatever, and walking away, leaving him with an assistant. Meanwhile, same bat time, same bat channel. Elon Musk arrived in China on an unannounced visit. Reuters. According to the publication, the businessman wants to discuss with Chinese officials the deployment of autopilot program for Tesla cars and the possibility of transferring data from China to the United States. Musk's plans to visit China have not been publicly announced, but I'm sure he got more attention and a little bit more VIP treatment than Anthony Blinken. I don't know. So here we go. I'm going to get this foreign stuff out of the way real quick before we get into what's going on here. Because we're going to be dealing with this, folks. We're going to be dealing with this. Vinoy D'Souza, I don't know if he's related to, I don't think so. BRICS conducts $260 billion of world trade without the U.S. dollar. The BRICS countries aim, that's $250 billion. The BRICS countries aim to eliminate the U.S. dollar from all global trade and sanctions by 2024. The bloc's goal is to put local currencies above the U.S. dollar to strengthen domestic economies and businesses. The alliance is also urging other developing countries to follow suit and make payments for cross-border transactions in local currencies. De-dollarization is in full swing. They've done $250 billion, and they're just gearing up. Who knows how much they're going to, of U.S. dollars, they're going to exclude from the ball game between now and the end of the year. And don't think in it, that's not going to have a deleterious effect on the value of the dollar. It most certainly will. Here is a problem. Here's a problem we got to keep an eye on. While they're chasing Trump and acting like Biden's okay, we must say no. See old defense chief on Korean involvement in hypothetical Taiwan crisis. I can't say that many letters fast. Okay? If there's one thing that Defense Minister Shin Wok-sik perhaps deserves credit for having a steadfast position on, is saying no to Korea getting dragged into issues surrounding Taiwan. This is quite something. South Korea Defense Minister says we must firmly say no to South Korea getting involved on the side of the U.S. in a war over Taiwan. So you put that together with the trashy treatment Blinken got, and anybody with a brain in their head would know that China is right now is very emboldened and going to be emboldened even more. So let me see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, MS Motorsports, how you doing, buddy? We're glad to hear you're doing good. Had you on day lot, and well, we get possessed by possessions, don't we, Robin? Possessed by possessions. That's what my dad used to say. It got so much stuff around. Hi, Garrett. How you doing? Well, they're already restricting the freedoms. You know, we got people, you know, that are resisting out in the field, I'll say, and some people are going a little too overboard. Larry, how you doing? Donna, how you doing? Yeah, 40 more countries have applied for BRICS. It's, you know, it's a reality. And meanwhile, what are we doing foreign policy-wise? What does the rest of the world see? This is what... Well, this has to do with seizing Russia's assets. You've got a lot of African nations taking their gold, repatriating their gold from the U.S., taking it out of the U.S. Why? Well, don't forget all those African nations that were told by Kamala Harris, and before that, told to their face by Barack Obama, that if they wanted any aid, if they wanted money, they had to make legal same-sex marriage, right? That they had to get laws off the books about TRANNYs, right? So they're thinking, hey, if they take Russia's assets when there's a problem, how do we know they're not going to take our money? Ghana, strategic gold reparation from U.S., safeguarding against economic volatility. Nigeria repatriates gold reserves amid concern over U.S. economy. It's not concern over the U.S. economy that these, I can't say the word, R-A-D, okay, Ickles, R-A-D, Ickles, okay, and it's going all over the world. Saudi Arabia recovers gold reserves amid concerns. I can't read French, so Cameroon repatriates reserves. That's what that French article says. Saudi Arabia recovers gold reserves amid concerns about the U.S. financial system. The largest economies in Africa and the Middle East are moving their gold reserves out of the United States. Oh, is that going to strengthen the dollar? Is that going to weaken the dollar? Let's see what kind of brains we got in our head. What, you know? Well, here's something real quick that is important. Okay, we see Eastern countries getting rid of the Western influences, okay? Western influences. The Federal Reserve and central banks, 1. The woke movement, 2. Okay? Opposition rallies are taking place in Tbilisi against the law on foreign agents, which is planned to be adopted in the second reading on Tuesday. Remember what Trump called for enacting right when he takes office, day 1. Foreign Enemies Act. Foreign Enemies Act. Well, keep that in mind as I read this. The ruling party of Georgia has planned a rally for people in support of the bill. It is reported and climb on the stage where politicians are due to speak more. Does that remind you of anything like college students maybe? The bill obliges, here's the important part. The bill obliges non-governmental organizations, NGO, Georgie Sporgy Soriosio, and media that receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad to register as an organization promoting the interests of a foreign power. That sounds like a daggone good law to me. When you've got your media being influenced by a foreign power, it should be disclosed. We're going to do the same thing in this country, not just with the media, but with the universities, okay, and political parties. Do you think we got 20% of the Democratic Party being funded by foreign interests? Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Let me make sure I got all these taken care of. Oh, remember when I talked about 5 Abrams tanks? 5 Abrams tanks bought got the business over there. And I had somebody in the chats, I just, in another conversation, I just mentioned, I said, they destroyed 5 of them, Abrams tanks. And somebody said, what are you glad about it? What are you? Hey, don't get after me for telling the facts, okay? $10 million a pop. 50 million bucks. Yeah, I'm going to mention it. So anyway, well, if I get the article, I'll pull it up. They've announced that they are pulling those tanks off the field in Ukraine. I don't know how many they have left, but they are retiring them from the battle. But guess what? It's not just 5 Abrams destroyed. You see what this thing on the screen is here, don't you? It's a prototype of an advanced Abrams. Footage of towing the first captured American M1A1SA Abrams with the remains of the ARAT remote sensing on board, captured near the recently liberated Berdichi. Due to its large mass and damaged chassis, the American was towed by 2 Brem 1s at once. Most likely, this copy will also join the exhibition on Poklomonya Hill in Moscow. So they're going to have a parade on May 9th, and they're going to be showing all their captured war trophies. God knows how many pieces of American equipment, French equipment, all German Leopard tanks, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be rows after rows of Humvees, who knows what. But the fact that they're going to have, that they've taken out our main battle tanks, they took them out with $10,000 drones. Took out $10 million item with $10,000 drones. But anyway, here's some stuff Mr. T posted. Reposted from the Gateway Pundit. Wayne Root, we're all Gaza now. Trump was right. One rigged and stolen election has turned America into a third world crap hole. That's where I got my title from in my thumbnail. Third world crap hole. Trump was right again. I'll never forget how CNN kept repeating that Trump said the word with the SH, okay? And then that's it. Hole. And he didn't even say it. They had two senators say that that was a made-up story. But CNN kept repeating it. And Burger King, the woke Burger King, had 3 televisions in their restaurant. 3 widescreen televisions, 11 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight on a Saturday, kids in there eating their food, and the news from CNN repeating that filthy word over and over and over again in public in front of kids. That was the last time I bought anything from Burger King. And he never said it. Another lie. 2 senators saying that's totally made up. So, but anyway, we'll use it. Crap hole. We'll use it. Okay, how about that? How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? So, anyway, poll opened up his biggest lead ever, captured in the CNN poll of American electorate, enjoying a 6-point advantage over incumbent Joe Biden. Trump at 49%. They got to play with those numbers, do everything they can to keep him from being put on television as over 50%. But anyway, then they say ahead of Biden's 43%. Well, this is CNN. We've seen the other polls. Was Fox or whatever had Biden at 38. I don't believe either one of them. I believe he's down like I doubt he's over 29 really. But we do have a lot of people that have bought into the narrative and are clinging on to their disdain for Trump to the point where they burn themselves alive to get a little smoke on Trump. They burn themselves alive, get a little smoke on him. So, but anyway, CNN's got to report it. Is that the Truth and Reconciliation Act? Here's another thing that Trump reposted right here for a lot of people to look at and see. I want to put judges up with their names because they would pick on me or worse for saying that I was targeting judges and stuff, so I didn't do it. But now they've made themselves celebrities, okay? Every one of these judges didn't have to take these cases. Every one of these charges, you're seeing articles coming out that these are difficult because they've never been attempted. Wait a minute. That means they don't exist, okay? There's no crime. They're trying to prosecute something for the first time ever. They can't find it in the law books the way it's constructed against Donald Trump. But anyway, scam and sham trials, indictments, election interfering judges, Kaplan and Goran Merkan. Corruption in New York, read truth of fear, sick of the persecution. So it's going to keep on going. It's going to get even louder. But what you're seeing is election interfering. And the judge you don't see up there, is the one that is dealing with Fani Willis, okay? He's getting a pass right now. Yes, Robin says, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you, Robin. Trump retruth this, and I've played this video, and now this is Donald Trump retruthing Ultra MAGA Rocky, but replying to Clandestine, who I told This is the video that shows all the nations bowing. They call it bowing to Trump. Okay. China didn't leave him standing at the airport like a gump. And remember when Obama went to China, they treated him like a gump. All right. He had to get out of that AWS end of the plane, right? They had to open the cargo hatch for him. They wouldn't even roll a set of steps up for him. Remember that, folks? And it's like Trump said, because they had no respect for him. But this video shows Saudi Arabia, China, India, on down the line, all these nations honoring Trump for his visits. And Trump retruthed that tonight. So that was pretty neat. Here we go. What's Mr. T got to say? Oh, Utah Mayor Trent Staggs. He received the endorsement of the Utah Republican Party. 70% of the vote. Now, he has been endorsed by Mr. T, and they said he was up against 10 wonderful candidates vying for the honor. All right, but the one with Mr. T's endorsement got 70%. He's got his complete and total endorsement. And he is running for the United States Senate. Who else is in the Senate in Utah? Oh, Mitt Romney, yeah. Who's not going to be there this time around? Mitt Romney, yeah, that's right. Those who resign or step down, they've submitted and will do as they're told. Remember that. Here we go. Here's something else, Mr. T. Retruth. Evil people who will do anything and everything to destroy his life. You know, and people that don't like him, people that say, I'm Orange Man, he doesn't have to go through this. Okay? He's got more money than most people could ever dream of. And if they think he's doing this for personal enjoyment, going through this, his family's going through this, we don't know what has happened behind the scenes. I know he lost his brother during all this. He lost his sister during all this. He lost Ivana during all this. You know, people that are very close, immediate family members, and he still, every single day, shows up on that battlefield. So, at least give the man respect as a human being. Because what do we see billionaires doing? Okay, Elon is stuck his neck out getting Twitter. He's going to China, trying to open doors there. Whatever he's trying to do. But most of the time, you've got self-centered, extremely wealthy people that are running around, hanging out with people who want to do nothing but dream up ways to winnow away our rights and our access to natural resources using fear. Fear and control. That's what they do with their money. Donald Trump is using his time, precious time, and energy to ask everyone for their vote to help this country. There's a big difference. So let's see what this one is. Let's see. Truth's Mr. T. Retruth. I bet it's a thrill. This guy's name is Kite Hander. And Mr. T retruthed him. He said these people need to go to jail. Among other things, they're stealing American tax dollars to fund their sick political games in their tireless efforts to remove President Trump from the campaign trail and ultimately the ballot box. These sick bastardos, I gotta talk Spanish, need to be held accountable. Okay, retruth by Mr. T himself. That's got to be a thrill. And this is Greg. I tell you what, if he re-truthed me, I'd be so happy. But hey, this one is an important one. Okay? Just the facts, ma'am. For anybody who doesn't doubt the chicanery that happened in 2020. Okay? And no, we're not going to forget about it and walk away. Just like I said, we're not going to forget about the lockdowns. We're not going to forget about what they did to us. Okay? Over that illness. All right? We're not going to forget about that. We're not going to forget about 2020 either. We want to make sure it never happens again. But anybody's got a doubt. Look at these numbers. Re-truthed by Donald Trump. The Democrat AZ Attorney General herself fraudulently elected by 280 votes. 1,254,809 to 1,254,529 in 2022 over Abe Hamade, a pro-Trump MAGA attorney. You'll tell me that's not chicanery? Let me tell you something. You remember an early senator who got elected by only a few hundred votes. And it was controversial. It was an off-year election. They found, supposedly, air quotes, found a bunch of votes in a gymnasium, under somebody's car seat. And, of course, the election dragged on for days and days. All of a sudden, that senator just disappeared. Voluntarily resigned. Supposedly for a S3X scandal. And I'll tell you who it was. Al Franken. Okay, remember him? He's one that got kicked out early. You hadn't heard a peep out of him. I guarantee you he's singing like a bird. So, let's see what else this is. Another retruth by Mr. T. God bless my president, Donald J. Trump, who loves America and is trying to save America, make America great again. Mr. T thought best to retruth this. God bless still my president, trying to make America great again. President Trump needs people like you to help to woke up individuals who close their eyes and ears to what's happening to America. President Trump is the answer to saving America. Stand up and make your voice heard and your vote count. God bless the USA. So, hey, yeah, that's what we're doing, folks. We're reaching out to people because, you put so much in front of people at some point, they've got to say, like that 200, a couple of hundred lousy votes out of 2.5 million. Because if they'd lost that AG spot, Attorney General came apart in Arizona, and they knew it. So they moved heaven and earth to win by a lousy 200 votes. And another retruth by Donald Trump. Everyone knows these communists that are waging illegal political war against Trump. When Trump gets elected, he needs to go after all these people that are partaking in election interference. A conspiracy. Rohack. Retruth by Mr. T. This farce of a trial reinforces the fact that these Marxists are destroying our country. Hopefully more and more people will see this for what it is and realize Trump must win to save America from these unscrupulous, hungry monsters. Re-elect Trump and help save America. Yeah, these are everyday people. All right, here we go. Another, I'm sure, very excited person, Jared. Please don't underestimate the intelligence of those of us watching this nightmare. We get the fact that it is pure, unadulterated evil. We know what is at stake. This country is dying before our eyes, and we understand that it needs to be stopped. The question is, where are the Republicans? Are there any patriotic Americans amongst them? I don't think so. That gets back, folks, that it is a uniparty. This is not one party against another. Okay? People that see what's happening, that they're colluding against us in both parties, and we need to make some big changes. Hi, Joel. How you doing? Jerry. Nice to see you. Yeah, AZ's a mess. Hi, Terry. But we've got those charges coming around. What would possess them to do those charges about something as flimsy as the claim of fake electors? Is that desperation, or is that somebody that's being instructed to move a case forward that it will force evidence to be put out? Wow, how about those tornadoes? Did y'all go through any of that stuff, tornadoes and things? Small branches impaled into building in Norman, Oklahoma, following devastating tornadoes. See how that branch just went right into that column and stuck there? I was talking last year, or more longer than that ago, about some hurricanes, being on a boat during a hurricane. Had these guys poking their head out of the boat, and I said, man, you're going to get something go right through your skull. And I was the captain of the vessel, of course, and I told them all to get their rear ends. Next time they poked their head out, their whole body was going out and not coming back in. I was tired of them opening the door up, having everything fly all over the cabin. But anyway, yeah, those tornadoes are rough stuff. I've got something in here. Let's see. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Hi, Sissy. How you doing? Yeah, we got it. Well, we're dismantling the uniparty. Here we go. Right here. Julie was a criminal conspiracy to indict Trump. A criminal conspiracy. Election interference is just one of the crimes that this conspiracy is abetting, okay? Election interference is just one of the crimes that they're conspiring to complete. Here we go. Here we go, a little meme for you to put in your quiver, your meme quiver. Trump indictments, swing state polls, ha ha ha. Now here's something I'm wondering about. A couple of stories here, but this one here. Graham predicts Supreme Court will send presidential immunity case to lower courts. The Hill. What that should say, back to lower courts. That he's going to they're going to order the lower courts to use their brains a little bit better and come up with something for them to review. They're going to sit there and do all their work for them. Common sense. Do you want faceless prosecutors chasing future presidents all over hell's half acre? Bypassing Congress, bypassing the Supreme Court, destroying people's lives for years and years. Nobody even knows who the hell they are. Who knew who the hell Jack Smith was? Who knew who Kaplan was? Or any of these goofball judges and prosecutors. Is that who we're going to have running the country, threatening presidents from now on? use your fat heads. I'm sure there are a bunch of fat heads on that lower court. Now, I guess you all heard about this DA, okay, called, refused to stop for speeding and called the cop a a-hole. Well, they want Letitia James to go after this guy. Boy, that's going to be something. I watched the whole video on it. I mean, Democrat Sandra Durley, DA of Monroe County, New York, that's upstate New York, refused to pull over after being clocked doing 55 and a 35. Get your dogs and your kids out of the damn way. I got a pizza in the oven. I didn't feel like stopping. You know, and you watch that body cam. Boy, that was a smack in the face when they released that body cam. She was rude. She laughed in the cop's face. She did call him an a-hole. She said, I'm not going to prosecute myself. I'll just throw it out. Go ahead and write a ticket. I don't care. Then she called his chief and handed him the phone like he was her servant. Here, talk to your chief. And then she went to go inside, and he said, don't go in the house. She went in the house, and then she came back out when some more cops showed up. I'll tell you what, she did disgrace to her office. And she disrespected that officer in front of everybody. And the voters put up with this crap. Never mind Letitia James. But what's she going to do, Letitia James? She going to throw rocks in her glass house at one of her sycophant supporters? She laughed more than once in multiple police officers' faces, and they were all being respectful to her. So we'll see which way this ball bounces. One thing I wanted to discuss, and I'm going to give a bit of advice to some people out there in this big old world. We know stuff is going wrong. We know we have a very good reason to be mad, all right? But some people, I give them a little bit of advice. They talk about rights, the Constitution, freedom of speech, all this kind of stuff. Yes, it's wonderful stuff. But who helped write the Constitution? Who fought for this country? Who was the father of this country? George Washington. He wrote a book called Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior. You can pull it up. You can buy it. Hey, I tell you, there's nothing more comforting to me than looking at a wall full of vintage books, old publications, feeling it in your hand, thinking about the history. Here, you can get it on Amazon. Look at these old copies. George Washington's, okay, Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior. Company and Conversations. How to act normal, how to act right. There you go. George Washington's Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior in Company and Conversations. Some of these people I see on YouTube that are claiming to be fighting for rights and stuff, they use the most filthy language, belittling, like this DA belittled that cop. Weakened the authority, okay, of her own office with her behavior. They all need to read that book. But that's just me. Believe me, there's cops out there that love for somebody to give them a shot. And, we need to get rid of not just these crooked DAs, but a lot of beat cops that aren't good, but there's a lot of good ones. I've had friends that lost their lives being too nice. Too nice, lost their lives. So, we got to find a middle ground. How about this? Remember when I was talking about Joe Biden using the word pause? Ago, I thought that was a key word because Mr. Trump was using it. President Trump used it in a number of his speeches, and I thought it stuck out like a sore thumb to me. Breaking: Joe Biden's administration has formally begun planning for a potential presidential transition. I guess he did mean 4 more years. Pause. And this dopey bunch here, MSNBC. President Biden took the podium at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. on April 27th. Biden cracked jokes about his age, Donald Trump's legal woes, like Donald Trump caused himself the woes when the news reports that are coming out and the evidence unredacted in Eileen Cannon's courtroom shows collaboration between the White House, okay, and Jack Smith. And what Fannie Willis, her bunch, is coming out with collusion to come out with these new and novel charges. They're dreaming crap up, in other words. All right. He also thanked the free press and mentioned the vitality of journalism. What a joke. The vitality of journalism. Yeah, Pravda. Here you go. She needs to read that book by George Washington. I'm a tolerant liberal and I hate Trump. You better agree with me or you're a Nazi, racist, and a Russian bot. When are they going to realize that they're looking unhinged? Here, I like this one. Thomas Sowell. He's been in the public eye for decades, but he's never been held up as a role model to black students. Why not? Clarence Thomas either. Why? Frederick Douglass. Why? When you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. He doesn't get any play. Let's see. I got Merrick back up there. I got to get these other things off. I'm wondering if this Merrick Garland thing ain't going to crack open. Here we go. I like my GUNs like Democrats like their voters. Undocumented. I like that one. I'm going to check the chats here and see what's going on with all you fine folks. Yeah, it does look like a mask, Larry. We got something going on with that word pause. Just like with the April Fools with Mr. T and then Papo, half the Hamas's leadership gets wiped out on April Fool's Day this year. Half of their leadership. Don't forget that Soleimani was the first one that Trump got. He was physically arriving in Iraq to support disruption and promote a takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. That's what he was doing there when his entourage picked him up at the airport and they didn't get 10 feet. Boom. Paul Davis. Let's see. Does anybody disagree with anything in this statement? If you do, have a conversation with me. He stole the election. He let our troops get blown up in Afghanistan and checked his watch during their funeral. He forced us to be part of a science experiment. He locked up and tortured those who questioned the legitimacy of his election. He arrested his political opponent. He groped women and children. He S3 actually assaulted Tara Reid. He showered with Ashley. He blew up the Nord Stream to start World War III. He forcibly vaxxed our military and fired all those who resisted. He destroyed the dollar. He allowed invasion on our southern border. He sold the influence of his office to China for millions. He is a traitor to his country and one of the most evil men to ever live. I can't argue with any of that. Now, you're not going to hear any argument from me. Let me see what's going on. Oh, by the way, if y'all haven't done it, do me a favor and hit the like button. Helps the video to get around, don't you know? Don't you know? Now, who can figure this one out? Speaking of Arizona, on top of all the other crap they're doing, Democrat Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs vetoes a bipartisan anti-squatter bill designed to protect homeowners. Does anybody have a rationale they want to argue or explain? I'm all ears. I'm like Ross Perot. I'm all ears. But I tell you what, I'm going to probably do a little video on this right here. A quiet victory, folks. And I just know who this person is. You know that when my first channel that got taken down, his face was one of the reasons I got taken down and the channel totally obliterated. I won't say his name, and if you misspell it, if you put it in there, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. A quiet victory. Quiet victory. I think that's just the beginning of what he's facing. And a lot of you know what he did, where he was, what he filmed. Okay? And I might do that on my other channel. So after he's in there for a few months, okay, getting the business from the guards and his attorneys letting him know of possible other charges, maybe he'll sing like a bird too. He got a lot of money. He got a lot of money from news agencies, okay, for footage planned ahead of time. Here's that article I was looking for. Ukraine sidelines expensive U.S. tanks after Russian drones keep attacking them. They're taking them off the battlefield. $10,000 taking out $10 million. Not hard to see what's going to happen there. And to my friends in the UK, I'm not trying to make you all mad, okay? But I got something here for you. This is not to make you mad. Just pointing something out. Because we know, we love you. The Brits gave up their guns. And now their government puts them in jail for Facebook posts. It's true. Just saying. And I tell you, I meant to talk about this. Have you all heard any updates about this man right here? Other than the jury couldn't come to a decision and a mistrial was declared. I already know that. Have they announced what they're going to do with him? I'm sure he's still languishing in jail. And for those of you who don't know, breaking judge in the Arizona rancher case where 75-year-old George Allen Kelly was accused of SHOOT, an illegal on his property, was declared a mistrial. Kelly was initially charged with second-degree red rum. The announcement from the judge came after the jury was unable to reach a verdict. So, long story short, this is simply not somebody who's looking for the American dream. Talking about the one who got the business from the rancher. There is no evidence that this person is here for those kinds of benign purposes. Namely, I just want a new life. Kelly's defense attorney said during closing arguments. And we bring that up, not to be judgmental about Gabriel or not have compassion for him. But when people are involved in a criminal lifestyle, it's dangerous. It's more inherently dangerous than simply being a migrant who's coming here. So it's relevant for that reason. The attorney's bringing up the point. The guy was a career criminal, probably a member of a cartel. And but somebody on the jury didn't want to let the old man go. I don't know how many of them were on that jury. That what way they thought. If we got to hear anything from now the jury's been released, has anybody put out any statements? Sometimes the jury will come out and say, hey, there was one person, or, it'll be 3 or 4 that are at odds. I don't know. But let's all keep our fingers crossed for this gentleman and pray that he's treated in a just manner. Now, I want to put this up because this has to do with the foreign agencies, okay? That article I read that were going on in Georgia, that's a country in the Eastern Bloc, not the state of Georgia. Israeli HATE camps explode, funded by SOROS, NGOs with foreign interests. We got to do the same thing here. We've got this upheaval in our institute, and Mr. T's going to put a stop to it before this country gets torn apart any worse than it already is. So anyway, folks, let me see what's going on in the chats. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this evening's broadcast. I may go live tomorrow. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. I might do just a talkie because there are some things I want to discuss with our group as a whole. Let me see. Has anybody heard anything about that jury? Let me get that down. Let me get this creepo down before. I don't know if his picture still would make something go off on it. I don't know. Here, right here. Did y'all hear about this? Very unwell. King Charles' funeral plans reportedly being updated amid his cancer situation. So the royals don't let information out like that lightly. I don't see Yeah, we got to see if we hear anything about what that jury was thinking. But anyway, so Prince Charles, they wouldn't put this out just for news reports. They're preparing the people for another change in the monarchy. But you never know. All right, folks, I'm going to play a quick little video for you that you guys like to see from my internal polling, namely, I guess you like it. Oh, here we go. One more thing. China's gold imports surge. Remember everything else I showed you about the African nations pulling all their gold out of the U.S.? China's gold import surges as 2024 begins. Okay, the first 3 months. More than they have stockpiled in decades. So, hey, I tell you what, when that financial part starts crumbling, it's quick. All right, we've talked about that before. Everything's fine 1 minute, the next minute nobody's got any gas, nobody can buy food, and after a couple months of that, it gets pretty scary. But we're prepared for it, folks. And I hope you all had a good time this evening. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. And I want to thank everybody who helped me out on Buy Me a Coffee through the week. Angie, Gary, Bevan, Mike, Norm. I appreciate it. Marsden. Lone Wolf. Love the Garden. Wanda, you helped me out too. So y'all have a great night. I got a short little video clip I want to play for you that I know you all enjoy watching. Putin, he says, hey, you want to say hello to my little friend? Y'all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out. Want to play this? Okay. Come on. Okay. You want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.